How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Nerdy Basement Podcast. I am your host, as always, the OG Osmosis, or just simply Ozzy. And joining me each and every episode are my co-hosts.
What's going on, everybody? It's Eddie.
And Miguel.
And we are...
The Nerdy Basement.
And we are back again, ladies and gentlemen. For the first time ever, we got a Star Wars-centric episode on the Nerdy Basement. We're going to dive deep because we're catching up on the Mandalorian. Episode 3, aka Chapter 11, was a huge episode. There's a lot to break down and discuss. So we're going to dive into all of that this episode. We got a little bit of news from Marvel, a little bit for DC. But it's mainly a Star Wars discussion episode, and we are beyond excited because, like I said, it's the first time we ever do it on the podcast. We reviewed The Last Jedi, we reviewed Rise of Skywalker, we reviewed, Solo, a Star Wars Story. I will put links in the show notes for all those episodes, but we have never taken one episode with, like, you know what, we're going to Star Wars the hell out of this episode for the entirety of the episode.
Well, in fairness, we didn't even get the chance to, we didn't review episode 2 for The Mandalorian like last week.
But that was by design. That was by design.
Exactly.
It was by design. Yeah, it was by design.
We don't just do things.
Sometimes. Everything is by design. Everything's planned out. Like, okay, so this week we're not going to talk about this.
Even if even if on the day of the podcast we seem confused, it's all by design. We do that for you guys.
This look on our faces
it's confusion. It's confusion by design, guys. Look confused 30 seconds into the introduction. Okay.
Right.
To be fair, like, people aren't coming to us for news. Like, we're fake news.
What are they coming for?
No, we're fake news.
Oh man,
we're
not this episode.
Not this episode though. This is all facts. This episode, so we're gonna get our reputation back. I don't know what they're gonna say, but we're gonna get our reputation back. But with that being said, we do got a couple of announcements, some exciting announcements. We got some really exciting announcements. I think you guys, our listeners and our viewers, are gonna be super excited about these announcements we're about to make. If you guys haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel already, please do. As you saw over this past weekend, we dropped a brand new show that's exclusive to our YouTube channel. That's a separate show that has nothing to... Matter of fact, I'm going to stay quiet. I'm going to let the guys who are producing the show talk about the show.
Well, I mean...
Take it over. Take it over.
I don't know, dude. Didn't you, like... didn't you give out a tagline?
I did.
We have to do that next episode, though.
Next episode. Listen, I'll take partial credit for that. Because you guys came up with the title.
I need lighting.
Okay,
my bad.
Guys.
There it is. I need my ring
Check it
light.
out.
I forgot about this.
So, Ed and myself over at Comics in the Basement decided, you know what? We need to do something for the viewers. We need to do put something out there. Ozzy's got Twitch. What can we do? What can we do? And we're sitting there sipping our morning coffee, and Eddie is walking to his comic book store, and bam, hits him like a bolt of lightning, like the Flash. Just
wow.
Just guys, I have the perfect idea. Who doesn't love comic books over a warm beverage, coffee, if you will, maybe a brew? And so we have come out with a brand new segment, or a brand new trilogy,
web series,
a brand new
video series.
Thank you.
I like that when he said it, exclusive YouTube series.
Yeah, that's exclusive to YouTube because it's a video content only.
Because I just realized that we didn't put it on Audible or anything. Nope. Like, I'm just like, we should have. But besides that,
that's exclusive. That's exclusive to YouTube.
Exclusive series called Comics in the Basement presents The Morning Brew. And that is...
Or our morning brew, I think.
I'm sorry, say what now?
Our?
What?
We just started. It's our morning brew.
Is it our morning brew?
Yeah.
Okay. I think so. Our morning.
We're still workshopping.
But
well, you guys need to workshop it before episode 3 so I can go back and fix the titles.
No, I think we're fine. We're fine. Wait, what did you put?
I put morning. I put the name of the comic you guys are talking about. And then Morning Brew episode 1 and then episode 2.
Okay. As long as it has Morning Brew in it, I think we're fine.
Right. Comics in the Basement presents Morning Brew. And this is a show where Ed and myself separately, because on episode 1, I said Ed and myself, and I said myself a bunch of times. It's the thing. So where Ed and myself will individually do segments on whatever comic book series it is that we decide to talk about that day. Episode 1 for me was Nightwing 75. Episode 1 for Eddie was
Black Widow by Kelly Thompson.
Black Widow.
Thank you.
Awesome topics. It's a brand new show. I think you guys are gonna love it. I know I love it, and I love doing it, and I do it for you.
Yeah, and like I said, you can find that exclusively on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to us on YouTube so you can catch it every weekend. We're still figuring out which day specifically to drop it, but you can catch that on the weekend. Our Morning Brew with Ed and Miguel, exclusively on the Nerdy Basement YouTube channel. Make sure you go subscribe. We're 15 subscribers away from hitting our goal of 100, and that's a goal that we set for ourselves last episode. So I want to thank you guys. A ton for subscribing to us and checking out our videos. We're gonna start doing. We're kind of finding our niche. How would I say? Finding our niche, finding our rhythm into doing the YouTube thing. And I think you guys will enjoy the content we're going to be putting out there. As Miguel said, I do have the Twitch. We're going to start doing some gaming content. We started dropping some gaming videos on there as well. You can catch Spider-Man Miles Morales on there. But we're gonna be doing. I'll be doing the Twitch stuff so we can get on Twitch. That'll be another opportunity for you guys to sit there and talk with me live, or just watch me play some video games and talk about the video games and talk whatever you guys want to talk about, literally live. And I would like to do it on Instagram, but Instagram, the connection messes up sometimes. You're limited to an hour, then you got to start it all over. So yeah, Twitch, unlimited time. I can be there for 24 hours straight if I want to. I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to be there for 24 hours straight if I want to.
It's nice to have the option.
No, absolutely.
It is.
You know
so
I
mean?
with that, we're trying a lot more things, guys. We're branching out.
Yeah, we're branching out. We're expanding. And trust me, this is stuff we've been planning for years now. This is not stuff that we just woke up one day, well, we're just going to start doing YouTube. It takes time to get this stuff off the ground and, workshop ideas and brainstorm. But as long as you guys are enjoying it, make sure you guys let us know that you're enjoying it. Make sure you let us know what you want to see on the show, on the new shows, whether it be Twitch, whether it be the Morning Brew with Ed and Miguel, whatever comics, even on the podcast show. Just let us know what you guys want us to talk about, and we'll try our best to get around it and put it out for you guys. We also have a special announcement. We're going to tease a special guest for an upcoming episode. This is a potential new and permanent host on the Nerdy Basement podcast. Okay, this is all depending on
pressure. Already so much pressure on this person.
But it all depends on what the person wants to do.
Decides that this person wants to be a permanent guest.
Is their decision? Yes. The offer was, well, if you like the vibes, you like how we work, then the offer is there.
That's right.
So it's up to you. You make the final decision. We're not going to push it, but just letting you guys know. There might be an extra permanent addition to the Nerdy Basement. We'll be expanding the team, and I think you guys will look forward to. You guys will be actually excited about who the person is. Honestly,
dude, a 4-man booth. That's where it's at. I mean, all the big shows have it. A 4-person booth.
Of course. It has to be 4 people. 4 people.
Sports.
We got 2 people. 3 people. 4 people. 5.
Like,
I always know 2 at least, and then maybe a couple of guests. No.
Well, it depends.
You're probably right. Honestly, I can't remember how many people are in a booth at the same time. But
most, I think it caps off usually at 4. It usually caps off at 4.
We've done shows with more than 4, and it can get dicey. But
it does.
That wasn't a booth.
It depends.
That wasn't a booth. That was a collab, and a collab could have as many people as you want.
True.
Right,
That's true.
enough.
But it actually turned out pretty well for the amount of people that were on it, to be honest.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was
a good
fun.
Time. Shout out to Party Nerds.
Yeah, we shout out to Party Nerds. You got to do that again sometime. But with that being said, we're going to leave the news for the tail end of the episode because we have a lot to dive into with The Mandalorian Season 2. So we're going to get into that right now. All right, The Mandalorian Season 2. Like we said, we saved Chapter 10 and Chapter 11 for this week. All by design, obviously.
Did that
all
come
by
out
design.
already? Season 2?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
did you miss
I
it?
was,
So, no.
I was just like, what the hell am I drinking?
Yeah. So, I mean,
Hey, listen,
we
man,
got Chapter 10. Let's dive into it real quick. I mean, Chapter 10, I know we were talking briefly about it off air and whatever. How do you guys feel about each? Well, Chapter 10 first. We'll go Chapter 10, then we'll dive deep into Chapter 11.
Chapter 10 was slow. And even though it was good, Chapter 10, after watching, Chapter 9, I was like, all right, cool. The story is moving forward to where we're going to see more Mandalorians, right? Right? That's kind of where the series is headed. But then Chapter 10 comes around and it's back to story of the week type thing, where things happen but nothing really happens. And so it kind of took me out of it, and then people on social media took me way out of it with their ridiculous talk-ins on about Baby Yoda eating fake frogs. Like, I was like, come on. So aside from that, like, it was fun seeing the TIE fighters. It was fun seeing, like, I guess the remnants of the rebellion kind of trying to bring order to the galaxy, or the New Republic, or whatever you want to call it. It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah. It was nice to see, obviously agree with a lot of that, because of the fact that it was definitely meant to extend the story now. You know what I mean? Put it on this path that it needs to get to. Obviously, a lot of funny moments. Yes, Baby Yoda is a savage. Wants to eat a lot of baby eggs. But guess what? He's a carnivore. This homie ate. If you guys remember last season,
he ate frog.
A full frog. he ate a full freaking frog.
And nobody had a problem with it then.
Nobody batted an eye. No one batted an eye.
Oh,
no
man,
one.
Joker, Heath Ledger.
For real.
So it's like it was fun. It was a cute movie because you know what? All it does is that it expands on the universe that we've been wanting to see more of. Because now we see the New Republic, the X-wings, and all that. With shout out to Dave Filoni for getting in that TIE fighter and doing your cameo over there.
Word.
And I want to say the other TIE fighters pilot, he was a part of the original trilogy.
He was
right. He was a part of the original trilogy. So that
I forgot his name, but yeah, he's part of the original trilogy.
He was. I think he was a part of Red Squadron actually. Now,
probably.
If I want to say either Red or Orange, I like one of the two squadrons, but he was in the originals.
I bet you. I bet you he died in the originals and nobody remembers. Because it was such a throwaway. I mean, everybody died in that scene.
Oh, which scenes?
In the original Star Wars, and episode. What was it? Episode.
Wasn't it episode 6, right? 4? No, 5.
Well, Empire Strikes Back. Everyone dies pretty much. So that's 5. That's 5. So, but yeah, so the episode was fun just due to the fact that what they were trying to do. Of course, there needs to be a cave scene because everything in Star Wars, there's always a cave scene.
Word.
And funny enough, me and Pam had to point it out to me. She was like, "Huh, another cave scene." I was like, "What?" She was like, "They always fall into a cave. What you didn't notice?" I'm like, "Fuck." I was like, "You're right. They always fall into a cave, and then there's always a giant monster coming out." And I'm like, "Fuck." Oh, but this one just happened to be a giant spider.
Excuse me. The Sarlacc was in a pit, not a cave. It's a difference.
Oh, forgive me. Did not someone fall inside into a big hole covered by rock formations?
which in hindsight would theoretically be considered a cave.
Sure.
But we get your point, Miguel. We get it.
Yeah, but it's a fun. I think it's fun. Nice way to progress the storyline. Was I happy that I didn't see it the same week it came out? Yes, because I was like, wow, I would have been uber pissed if I watched this on the day.
Oh yeah, I watched it like me. I watched it the day it dropped. I watched it and I was like, what the fuck?
Then
like I'm expecting
on Twitter.
No, actually, I kind of held back. I didn't want to.
You did say something. I can't remember exactly what you said, but you said
something. I did say something, but I didn't go full savage on it, and I'm not gonna go full savage on it either. But I mean, it was essentially a throwaway episode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It was a throwaway episode.
Best scene was the very first scene when he gets tripped up. He got tripped up by the bounty hunters. And then you see little baby Yoda running to him. He uses the little jetpack to shoot the little guy into the air and let him drop. So I was like, those are the fun. And that was like probably the best scene because it was just funny. It was great. It was like definitely something you would hope to see from a Mandalorian and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, like I said, it was fun seeing the fight, the pilots and whatnot, the X-wings and whatnot. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I always like to see the space stuff in Star Wars. That's what we like to see.
Also,
anyway.
I think the frogs were a brand new species they just introduced. I don't think I've ever seen any of the frogs in any of the Star Wars series.
I don't recall ever seeing them. I mean, the live action ones I've never seen them, but
yeah, I don't recall them even in any of the animated ones. And personally, I don't recognize them at all.
But yeah, I mean,
I just started watching Rebels, so I don't know.
Yeah, I just started watching Clone Wars, which we'll get into later.
Oh my god, I can't wait until you get into Rebels, though. Oh my god.
I'll get there. I took a break just because the weekend I was playing Miles Morales. I'm gonna take a break from watching Star Wars so I can play Miles Morales.
Slacker.
Real quick, Ozzy, I gotta ask. PS4 or PS5?
Am I playing it on PS4 or PS5? No, PS4. I couldn't get my hands on a PS5.
Okay.
And we'll talk later, but we'll get into this. We'll get into this. So, but like I said, I did say some things about chapter 10 and chapter 11. To be completely honest, on Twitter. So if you guys follow me on Twitter, you guys have seen my words. Like Miguel said, I did say some things. One of them is the pacing issue of season 2. While it's fun seeing all the nods and all the cameos and all that good stuff, like I said, episode 1 stuff happened. It was cool to see. We got the setup that we wanted to see more Mandalorians. Cool. So I'm expecting episode 2, chapter 10, to kind of like progress that a little more. Didn't really happen. It's essentially like a side mission when you play video games, like a side mission.
Yeah,
that's essentially what that was.
Sometimes some side missions are awesome.
Yeah, but this side mission just wasn't awesome. This side mission just wasn't awesome, to be completely honest.
I'm 50% into Spider-Man right now. Spider-Man 1, okay?
Listen,
because of the fact of all the side missions. I'm just throwing it out right now.
Eddie can't go fight the Rhino yet. He's got like 6 backpacks to collect. Come on.
Yo, trust me, those were fun. I
have not seen him actually. Funny enough, I have yet to fight.
I collected all the backpacks, took all the pictures. I did everything.
Yeah, I have to. I'm about to get those little trophies from Cat too. So just throwing it out there. Word. I did all that. I did all that too. But yeah, back to Mando. But yeah, like I said, chapter 10 was just didn't sit right with me. But see, like I have to. I'm sorry. I have to kind of like counteract that. I actually don't mind it. What I mind is that it was right out the gate, which I can probably agree with you, right? Like that they put in that filler episode, that throwaway episode. But I was hoping, I would have liked to have one little more tidbit of like the story progression. Actually, no, I do agree with you. You're not actually saying it out loud. You're right. Yeah, the pacing wise, for it to come right, I don't mind it happening episode 5.
Well, if we got 3 episodes back to back setting up the plot, and then we got 2 filler episodes. Cool, I'm fine with that because I'm cool with getting a filler episode mid-season. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. But because you're like, my god, 100%, and then
you give me one episode where you set up what you're gonna do in season 2, then you give me one whole filler ass episode in chapter 10, which is the second episode. Then episode 3, which we got this week, you balls to the wall with introducing these characters, and then it's also a short episode. So it's like. You only have 5 more episodes left, so it's like, what are you really trying to like do? Are we gonna take? Are you really?
You're right. 8 episodes. You're right.
Yeah. Are you really gonna take this long to kind of flesh out that story? How much thinner are you gonna stretch it out? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's my big worry about season 2.
You know what?
I don't want them to stretch it too thin.
It reminds me of season 1, that one episode with the heist episode where they broke my man out of jail.
They broke into the ship.
Yeah.
Into the ship, right?
Yeah, the jail.
That's
like the jailbreak.
that was an episode that you really didn't have to watch. Like there was nothing.
No,
about
but it
that.
was cool. It was. I think that was a cool episode still. Though.
I'm not disagreeing that it was cool or wasn't cool. I'm saying that was an episode that wasn't needed for the progression of the story. Much like
correct.
Funny enough. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm going to cut you off real quick.
Okay.
It was needed. You know why?
Because they
That
brought it
same
up in
exact
this. They brought it
episode.
up here. Yeah.
That's the only reason why they didn't shoot to kill at that, like him in that in the cave. How funny is that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Little tidbits that were like,
Oh,
well,
cool.
we
They're
should have taken you
connecting.
in.
They're
but
connecting filler episodes. Great.
I think that's awesome, right? Because
is-
it's like
what is this, Naruto?
It's just like
What
any
am I gonna
RPG.
get?
Yeah,
What
it's
am I gonna
Naruto. I was
Oh,
like, that's the first thing that popped in my head.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
wow,
Dude,
Naruto.
It's like all the RPGs, right? Every decision you make could affect one of the things that happens there. One of the best examples are like Mass Effect and other stuff. So if you piss this person off, they could either help you or screw you over even more later in the game. This is what's happening. He chose his path. This is the way. And now
Oh
look how
my
it
God!
worked out.
Shut the hell up. This is not the
I'm
way.
just saying, I thought it was awesome. He was like, he was like, you did though capture 3 people for us though. So you know what? Just fix your shit and bounce, all right?
Yeah,
and
for
like,
real.
If he just wasn't a dick saying, can you just, help me, do this whole thing and everything like that. I think if he asked nicely, he would have been fine. He would have got help.
Word.
I mean, they did help him. He was about to die.
True. No, agreed. No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That's not the point.
But yeah,
though.
that's
Filler
my main
episodes.
that's my
Yeah.
main concern with season 2. Like with
I hear
season one, almost every episode progressed the story, but now it's like we're getting a little tidbit here, a breadcrumb here. You're gonna skip a whole meal here. We'll give you half a sandwich here, and then maybe a breadcrumb at the end of that after you eat that sandwich.
You gotta
now
make
you
this
gotta
about
wait.
food. You gotta make this about
I mean,
food.
it's the best- that's the
when
best
your boy
analogy
hasn't
I-
eaten.
I haven't eaten either, bro.
Damn.
So I'm just saying.
Oh, I
Know what I'm
I
saying?
ate very well earlier. I'm still full from my
You shut
late ass
your
brunch.
face.
Late brunch?
You
Hey,
shut
I'm sorry,
your
it was
face.
delicious. I'll tell you guys later. But
It
see,
was
but that's
it was
the whole
lunch.
point.
It was lunch.
Chapter 11 gave it exactly
But then yeah,
what we
but like
needed.
I said, this even though my like I said, my disappointment with chapter 11 was that it's too short. 35 minutes is like, fam, you could have gone way
Was
more.
it really 35 minutes?
It was 35 minutes.
Again, like I said, I didn't notice it because I watched 2 and 3,
Back
like
to back.
chapters 10 and 11 back to
Yeah.
back. So I was just there, and it ended up being 11:30 at night by the time I finished watching them both. So I was like, oh wow, I've been here for a while. You know,
Yeah.
so that's how I.
So yeah, it was a short episode. So that was my big gripe with the episode. I mean, other than that, I mean, the episode was a solid episode. I mean, you
Can I
got
talk
the
about my
live
favorite part?
action. You got the live action debut
Real
of
quick.
Bo-Katan. Go ahead, Miguel. Go ahead.
Okay. All right.
Was it Sasha Banks?
Yeah, dude, I was watching
I knew
watching
it, I
episode
knew it.
11 and so I was watching it and Cassie was watching it with me, my youngest daughter. And like I'm watching it and she's watching it too. And then they kind of pan over her and she goes, "Daddy, that looks like Sasha Banks." And I was like, "That is Sasha Banks. That's my atta girl. High five." So that was
Oh,
my
so you had
favorite part.
so your favorite part was because you had a daddy daughter moment, which is always awesome.
With Star Wars,
sure.
yeah.
Like
Over
for example,
Star Wars, yeah.
speaking of that, so I've been watching Clone Wars, right? So I'm almost done with season 1. So I watch it, once my son is done with school and I'm done doing shit around the house, or if I'm feeling lazy, I just put it on. So my son just is always in and out of the living room. So now he's been sitting down and watching Clone Wars with me. So he's getting into it. So every time we go on Disney Plus, he's like, "Oh, can we watch Star Wars?" I'm just like, "Yes,
Indoctrination.
Right, we'll watch it, Star Wars.
yes,
We'll
I'm
watch it. It's going.
raising you right."
Yeah, You know what? Just like the Watch raised poor Din Djarin in the wrong ways of the Mandalore.
Did they though? Did they though?
It's hard to say, because it's
Did
funny
they,
though,
though?
because again, when you get further into Rebels and all that kind of stuff, well, technically, remember, think about it. They mentioned the Zealots, which is Death Watch from
Right.
Clone Wars. So that was one of the big things. But they called them they kept it simple, the Zealots. You know what I mean? Which
No, they
is
called them
what
the
they
Watch.
called the Death Watch. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, but Death Watch, but they just call it the Watch.
Absolutely,
yeah. So because that's too much of a deep cut into Clone Wars, nobody's would have known it and everything. But it's also like his sect of the Creed and everything like that wasn't Death Watch, so which is pretty interesting because they're like, no, this is just the way that we feel is right. Death Watch is the one that actually tried to do it because here's the thing: when it comes down to it, even their leader took off the helmet. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's everyone else that didn't. So that was that's one of the biggest things. I love it, but all I know once I saw that helmet,